So, if our colleague Nessa is here with us, she is going to talk to us. Hello.
Yeah.
She is the program director of our another LLM program. It's the Law, Technology and Innovation program. And she is here today to talk to you about what this program might bring and what you can expect in the field of law, technology and innovation in terms of career opportunities and in terms of perhaps job seeking opportunities going forward.
Oh, thanks so much, Zita, and welcome everybody. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. So it's lovely to be here with you this morning and to also listen to the last presentation, which was wonderful. So as Zita said, I'm Nessa Lynch and I'm the Programme Director for our new refreshed LLM in Law, Technology and Innovation, which is the successor to our highly successful LLM in IP and e-law. So we were meant to have one of our distinguished graduates here with us this morning to talk about her career journey, but unfortunately she is a very busy woman and was called away to an urgent work matter this morning. But conveniently, I am both a UCC LLM graduate and the program director, so I'm going to try and wear two hats today, and as well as talk to you about the career opportunities in this area and our new program and how it works. I'll also in a minute talk a bit about my career journey and where the UCC law degree and the LLM brought me in my career. So I want to do three things, and as I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or we can have, depending on time, we can have a little session like we did the last time, Q&A session. So I want to cover three things. So first I'm going to talk about this area of law and this area of work and how it's such an exciting and fast growing area of the law with really good work opportunities, both for law graduates and graduates from other fields who might be wanting to come back and upskill to enter this area of law and work. I'll talk a bit then about my own career journey after the UCC LLM and how I got into the law and technology area and where my own career has taken me. And then I'll talk you through our new program and so how it works in terms of application, who can apply, the refreshed curriculum that we've got going and some of the really innovative things that we have in the program. So in relation to law and technology, so if you engage at all with media or the public discourse, you'll see that law and technology and the perimeters and the risks of technology are everywhere at present. So society is really concerned, particularly with artificial intelligence at the moment. It's everywhere in terms of use and also risks and opportunities. Cybersecurity is also another big one. Obviously, as we've seen with elections around the world and politics, this issue of online misinformation and disinformation and how we might regulate speech in the online environment is really a key issue at the moment. And we're seeing really that absolute growth in the digital economy, that so much of our work life and our leisure life and our economic activity has moved from the physical sphere to the online sphere. And that brings with it a lot of challenges, but also opportunities. And so in the EU region, we've had an absolutely massive growth in regulation. So over the last couple of years, so we've got the EU AI Act, which is the first worldwide attempt to really grapple with regulating artificial intelligence. We've got the Digital Services Act, which is looking at regulating these platforms that we spend so much of our time on, such as YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And then the issue of cybersecurity, so how we protect ourselves and protect our economy in the online environment. So this field is moving really, really fast. So it's quite an exciting area in terms of research and teaching. Well, exciting and difficult because even if you're preparing your lecture the week before, the chances are something has happened in the interim. So it's very much fast moving. So I suppose in relation to studying in Ireland, like Ireland is, or for our international friends, Ireland is a really good place to study law and tech because of the fact that Ireland for many years has been a technology hub. And you'll see that many of the worldwide technology companies are actually headquartered or have a very large presence in Dublin and increasingly in Cork. So Cork, again, is a city where the technology and the technology adjacent industries have absolutely mushroomed. So because of this, Ireland is really the epicenter for a lot of the really exciting law and technology issues that are going on around the world. So particularly the Irish regulators, such as the Data Protection Commissioners Commission and Comisiún na Man, which regulates media, they're really at the forefront of the European regulation because the big issues and the big disputes are happening in relation to big companies that are headquartered in Dublin. So that makes it an exciting place to study, but it also means that there are a huge amount of opportunities for people who have qualifications and experience. So my position is actually funded by Matheson, who are a large law firm in Ireland who really I think lead a lot of the work in law and technology, and they advise both private sector clients and public sector clients. And one of the reasons why they funded my position and why they're in partnership with University College Cork is that one of their issues has been that they literally cannot get enough graduates that have the skills because of the amount of work that they have. So they've partnered in funding my position and also supporting us with some of the curriculum refresh because they are so interested in getting graduates in for their work. So there's massive demand in legal practice and advisory for people who have a grounding in these issues. And then we also have an absolute mushrooming of opportunity in what I would describe as quite new compliance roles. So as I mentioned, all this EU regulation that we've had, that all imposes legal duties on people who run businesses and directors. And so for instance, the AI Act has brought in a huge amount of new legal responsibilities on companies. So you'll see if you look at the jobs listing, there's a huge amount of opportunity in Ireland and globally for new roles like Chief AI Officer or Emerging Technology Governance or AI Ethics. So it's a really big growth industry. And so some of these will obviously be roles that require a specific legal qualification in that jurisdiction, but many of them are looking from people who have diverse backgrounds. Say, for instance, if you were looking at AI in the creative sector, they might look for somebody who's got a background in the creative industries, but is able to demonstrate that they've got another qualification, that they're up to speed on the responsibilities under these new regulatory regimes. And even Matheson, that I have quite a lot to do with, they recruit quite a lot of people who don't have a law degree because they need that multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary lens. So we're also seeing quite a lot of people who have worked in the tech industry or who have qualifications more in the technical side, like computer science or cybersecurity, again, getting in touch to ask about how they can upskill to get into the regulatory side. So that's a really big growth industry. And as said, in relation to corporate social responsibility, companies are quickly realizing that as consumers, we're quite interested in privacy, we're interested in where our data is going. So again, we're seeing a lot of growth in those type of roles. And I suppose for people who are more interested in probably those big conceptual societal challenges, obviously what we're seeing is huge ethical and philosophical issues around freedom of expression in the digital sphere, privacy in the online space, the protection of children from harm from social media, etc., and areas like surveillance in public spaces and balancing public safety and privacy. So it's a really fast-moving, exciting area where I think there's career opportunities in those more traditional paths in law firms and the Big Four advisory, etc. But also, as I said, an absolute proliferation of new roles. So over the weekend, when I was just prepping my notes, I just had a look at kind of even what jobs were available around Cork, with searching for terms like AI ethics and emerging tech governance. And, there are just so many opportunities in that space. So as said, I'm wearing two hats today as somebody who has a law degree in an LLM from UCC and also the program director. So I thought I'd spend a minute or two just talking about my career journey and where my UCC qualifications brought me, because I've come around in a big circle. So I studied here. I started my law degree in the year, way back in the year 2000, graduated in 2003, and then actually, like some of you on this call, I was not exactly sure what I wanted to do with my life, so I decided actually I would do an LLM, and I made the choice actually not to do one of the specialized LLMs, but to do our general LLM, because again I wasn't particularly sure what I wanted to do. So that gave me the opportunity to just pick from that range of subject matters, and maybe not narrow my career too often, too early. So, there are lots of opportunities. As I said, you can, if you kind of know where you're headed, you can choose one of our specialized programs, but the general LLM is there as well. And again, that can be a good jumping off point if you want to take your law study a bit further, but you're not entirely sure which way it's going to go. So I started off actually very interested in criminal justice. So I did my LLM program. I did a range of subjects, and I had picked a legal history subject, but actually there wasn't enough people to run it that year. So this was kind of before email. So the secretary from UCC called up and said, that course isn't going ahead. You'll have to choose something else. So I chose youth justice with the now Professor Ursula Kilkelly, who's the vice president of the university now. And that took my career in an absolutely massive direction, because I ended up being really interested in that, going on to do a PhD in New Zealand. And for the first part of my academic career, I focused specifically on child justice. And again, that was quite a random thing. Otherwise, if there were enough people to study legal history, that might have never happened. So it's good to always have an open mind and take opportunities, because you never know what way they're going to go. But more recently, my career, I suppose, aligned with the huge development in law and technology. So I got interested in the criminal justice aspects of it, got very interested in biometrics and facial recognition technology. And really conveniently for me, again, it was another open door. I think that this was about 5 or 7 years ago. I think it was around that time where there was absolutely huge concern about the ethical use of such technologies in the context of a major regulatory gap where the laws just hadn't kept up. So I quickly built a career both in the academic research and got shoulder tapped to do a range of regulatory type roles. So I was living in New Zealand at this time, so I chaired the New Zealand government's data ethics advisory group over the pandemic, which was, I suppose, really quite scary, but also really exciting. So basically being on 7 or 8 hours of Teams calls a day, working out kind of how we were going to use the app for the pandemic and tracing technologies and how would we share information. And then I actually decided to go and work for New Zealand Police for a couple of years. So looking at a senior role in training, but also keeping up my emerging technology governance experience. So I suppose my career reflections would be that you might have a really strong idea what you want to do right now, but take those open doors that present themselves, because I think I think a lot about the idea of a squiggly career. So sometimes we think about our career journey being really linear, like I'm going to achieve this thing and then I'm going to get onto that thing. But it's often those things that you don't expect that are the most fun and the most exciting. So definitely keep your mind open as well, even if you're choosing to specialize, because you'll be surprised 20 years from now where you end up. But the UCC LLM gave me a fantastic grounding, I think, particularly in how law is in context. And so if you look at the UCC graduates that were in my cohort and what we've gone on to do, I think around the world, it's absolutely amazing. So it's fantastic to be back here and on the other side of it now. But I'll move on then to the third thing that I want to do is just talk about our actual program. So As I said, we've had a very firm foundation and quite a long-standing commitment at the school to this area of law and technology. And so this program that we've now refreshed and rebranded into the Law, Technology and Innovation. And so this is the successor, and it really builds on the success of the LLM in intellectual property and e-law. So I think cognizant of the way that the area of law is moving so fast, we've taken the opportunity to reflect on the structure and content of the LLM. And so we've built on that really firm foundation, but added in some new aspects to it and some new content to just rebrand it as being really contemporary and suitable for this fast moving area. And so in particular, it's reflecting the really quick transition of law and technology from a kind of a standalone subject out here that you might take a module in law and tech or emerging tech to something that actually underpins our whole way that we think about law. Because you realize if you work in any area of the law now that technology is increasingly becoming something that's cross-cutting. So if people who've been in legal practice, we're using AI and other technologies on a daily basis to do our legal research or tasks. We're seeing AI being used in online courts to make decisions across all aspects of the system. So it's that idea that technology issues, and particularly AI, are filtering through any type of law that you can name. So the rebrand of our program reflects that idea that it's no longer a standalone discipline out here. It's something that cross-cuts everything. So we're launching this new program now with our first intake in September 2025. So it's open to law graduates, obviously, who'd want to either come back from practice and upskill, or take that time out of law school to have that specialist qualification to increase your marketability. But we also very much want to stress that this is open to non-law graduates as well. So as I said, the LLM, if you have a non-law qualification and you're able to demonstrate to us that you have appropriate professional experience. So as I said, if anyone's in that bracket, I'm happy to discuss that with you. But that could include things like professional experience in the law, technology, intellectual property, advisory fields, or I suppose non-degree qualifications that you might have, like micro-credentials, etc. But we look at each one of those applications in a very holistic manner. Obviously, we've got to assure ourselves that you're capable of the programme, and particularly that you have the writing skills and the research skills to be involved. But also, we're very open to assessing people's situation and their career path holistically because of the interdisciplinary nature of the program. So as part of your compulsory courses, you obviously will do the legal research and methods and writing program. So for our international students in particular, or people who are coming back to study for a while, that gives you a really good grounding in how the common law system works, how to do legal research and writing, and key skills like reading cases, etc. So then a large part of the LLM program is the LLM dissertation, where you write an extended research essay under the supervision of a faculty member. So again, we can offer supervision in a large range of subjects in that cross-cutting. And so then our core courses for this program aim to introduce you to key aspects of law and technology and the digital economy. So you can make choices between IP law, law and policy of the EU digital market, cybercrime, which is an absolutely up and coming area, and a new course which I'm developing at the moment, which is law and regulation of emerging tech. So that course will look at everything from technologies in the law enforcement and national security sphere to things like gene editing, to how AI might interact with intellectual property. So it gives you a really good grounding in this idea of how we regulate these emerging technologies. And then we have our long-standing clinic program, which we've rebranded slightly to better reflect the focus. And this is a really highly successful program where you can actually work directly with startups under the supervision of academic staff members and work on legal problems that they come to the school with. So then you have an opportunity to choose your other subjects from across the school's offerings. So as I said, technology is interacting with a really wide range of disciplines at the moment. So say we have a lot of people at the moment interested in how technology might impact children's rights. And so lots of proposals globally, like should we ban social media for children? How should we have those quite strong regulatory situations, but just protect freedom of expression. So if you're interested in that, you could do our program, but then maybe decide to actually choose one of your elective models like children's rights or human rights to get that grounding and how those aspects fit together. And again, if you're interested in the more commercial law focus, again, you get the core courses from the program, but you might be able to choose some courses from the business law program or intellectual property to, again, give you that wider focus. So there's a lot of flexibility there to choose from that menu of other electives. And so we do offer two nested qualifications within the program. So you can start off with a postgraduate certificate where you do 30 credits. So it might be an opportunity if you're coming back to study and you're not sure to start off, and then you can transition up to the full LLM. And similarly, some people might do 60 credits and then decide that was enough for them, and you can have the exit qualification of the postgraduate diploma. So there is some flexibility in there for people's circumstances. And so lastly, in relation to the teaching format, so seminars are taught in a reasonably small group environment with a big focus, in my courses at least, on discussion, group discussion and research essays. And so most of these will be recorded. So, there is a little bit of flexibility if you've got things that come up in relation to the missing the odd seminar. So at the moment we don't offer it in a fully online or hybrid, but that may be something that we would consider in the future if there was demand. So as I said, you're very welcome to reach out to me. My contact details are on the website. So as I said, particularly for non-law graduates, if you want to reach out and have a discussion around do you fit within the professional experience category for admission, or if you've got any other questions, feel free to flick me an email and we can have a catch up or a call. So lovely to be able to talk to you this morning. And as I said, if you've got any questions now, just pop them in the chat or we can connect at a later date.
Thank you so much, Nessa, for all the information and I suppose inspiration for our students. If there are any questions from the audience that's with us live, please feel free to unmute yourself or use the Q&A functionality. Alternatively, as Nessa said, the contact details are available, so please feel free to reach out to her or for that matter to any of our program directors with any specific queries.